Maybe I'm crazy, but I might become a Pelicans fan.
Stop.
I
Joy.
know.
That's too quick of a heel turn.
I don't know. I've been giving it some thought.
A fan, you could think differently about the situation.
A fan might be an aggressive term.
Okay.
I'm coming around to the idea. We'll get to it later.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.
Welcome to the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. That's Brandon Newman.
Hola.
Bonnie Jo Laflin will join us today.
Yes.
She works in the Bay Area on the Murph and Mac show and many other things.
Yes, in the biz.
She's in the biz for sure. She was a NBA scout for 12 years, the first and only female NBA scout. So she's very well connected. She's got some scoops on the Lakers, and we'll talk NBA Finals with her. We'll also talk about Kawhi, KD, Drake. As I mentioned, the Pelicans, WNBA season, LeBron not in the finals, NBA MVP. The Browns, particularly Baker Mayfield, it's being a little bit petty. I saw Aladdin.
You did.
I did see Aladdin, so we'll talk about that too.
Yes, well,
I have some thoughts.
I want to give to the first week sales. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna later.
Oh, you want to add to it?
Yeah, first week sales.
Yeah, well, we'll help them get their money up. Disney needs some more, so we'll do that. But let's start with Bonnie Jo Laflin. All right, thank you to Bonnie Jo Laflin for joining us on the podcast.
Hey.
Bonnie Jo is the first and only female NBA scout.
Okay.
Girl power, we love that. Also was with the Lakers for a while. She's also the co-host of KMBR's Murph and Mac show, amongst a lot. You have a very long bio. You have lots of stuff going on. NBC Sports Bay Area, Westwood One, Fox Sports, segment reporter, NBA Insider, but you're all things sports and the Bay, and shocking, the Warriors are back in the finals again. Nobody predicted that, but there are some things there's some wrinkles with it this year. So you're wearing a Golden State shirt there.
Yeah, I've got to represent.
Right. So Kevin Durant, I don't think he's going to play in the finals at all. What are you hearing as far as that goes? I think it's more optimism than actual facts. And how much do you think this actually affects this series?
Well, it's funny you say that because it's a big topic that everyone wants to know. Warriors better without Kevin Durant. And I never say that they're better. They're just a different type of team. There's, more, I guess a lot of people think they're actually more entertaining to watch. There's so much more ball movement, and, you get to see Steph and Clay do their thing. Plus, Draymond really steps up this game, forcing the ball, being able to actually control the whole offense, pick up the pace and everything. So that's been different. Are they better? I wouldn't say they're better, but I do think they can still win this series without KD, but it'd be a little easier with KD. But what I'm being told now is that he will not play game 1 or 2. And, I think this calf strain is a little more serious than people are saying it is. I mean, a lot of us all thought, I'm sure you thought so as well, that it was probably an Achilles at first. It looked so bad the way he looked back at his leg. And I think they're not wanting the media to know that it's a little more serious. So I wouldn't be shocked, Joy and Brennan, if he's not in this series. What's crazy enough is that we're going to DeMarcus instead of KD. So it kind of mixes it all up.
Well, I agree with you. I did not think that it was a easy injury at all. Obviously, all of us thought Achilles at first, and we're kind of relieved it was calf strain. But calf strain at this point in the season is not something easy to get over. You mostly have to rest to get through it. So he's traveling with the team, according to Chris Haynes, Yahoo Sports, and Fox Sports now. But that, like you said, that doesn't really mean much. The Raptors, however, I've been on the Raptors since the beginning of the season.
I know, you picked it. You actually picked who I saw, and you picked that you thought the Raptors would beat the Bucks.
Well, sometimes we're right. I will, to be completely honest, I did think that the Celtics were going to be in the finals, but I was also very high on the Raptors at the beginning of the season. So I'll keep it 100 with that.
You remembered how good Kawhi is this entire time.
Yes, but with Kevin Durant out and likely Boogie out, It does change the dynamic. Like you said, there's a lot of ball movement. The Raptors are going to have a lot of rest as well when winning their series in 6. Do they give you any fear whatsoever? Is there any fear in Golden State at all? Because you guys are we have our producer Heller here is from the town also.
Yes.
And he's very high, very very arrogant, which is fine because you're dynasty, so you're allowed to be. I'm a Heat fan. We were arrogant during our 4 years of grace. Any fear at all of the Raptors?
I mean, yeah, you always have to have fear when you have one of the best two-way players in the game, and Kawhi Leonard. So, and the thing that Warriors tend to do is they get complacent, and sometimes we've seen that where they just They don't play hard. They don't come out hard in the first quarter, sometimes even the third or fourth. And so that's one concern would be that they're kind of complacent. They've had the 9-10 days off to rest, which has been great for the injuries and for them to get some downtime. But you wonder if there's a momentum also with the Raptors and how well they play at home. So you just never know. I mean, I still think the Warriors will win this series, but it's not going to be as easy as people think.
Is there any level of drama with this team right now, with all the conversation about KD possibly leaving? Clay didn't make the All-NBA team, so there was a little buzz about that. And obviously, not too long ago, there was some reports that he was a little unhappy with being like the fourth wheel. Is there any drama around this team at all, or do they seem locked in?
Well, we have seen, during the regular season, animosity between Draymond and KD. And then, even, things that with Steve Kerr and Draymond, and we all don't know for sure what, Coach Kerr said, but, he's tired of, Draymond's BS. But there's been a lot of things, and then you get into the postseason, it seems like none of that seems to matter. It's almost like KD, now that he's not even playing, that a lot of people aren't even talking about his free agency and where he'll go, which is surprising enough. I think it's because of the fact he's not in the game, and so people are thinking, well, if he can play and actually contribute to this finals, then okay, maybe he stays. But then maybe he sees, hey, this team doesn't need me. I want to, set my sights somewhere else and be able to, have a team where I can lead them on my back and not have anyone else and be the number one guy.
Well, we've seen Kevin Durant be able to step in and the Warriors behave accordingly. It doesn't really seem like it's a big step having KD in the lineup, but someone who's closer in DeMarcus Cousins, as you mentioned before, he never looked comfortable in the lineup at all. So would it even be smart to add any of these guys to the lineup once they get healthy? It seems like the Warriors work with momentum and moving the ball around. It seems like there's a different team when those superstars aren't in the lineup at all.
Yeah, that's a good question, because a lot of people think the chemistry right now, you see this death lineup and they're doing so well. With Iggy being, he does what he does. We all know during the playoffs, Iggy just explodes during the playoffs. So I don't know if you want to mess up this chemistry and even put DeMarcus in. Maybe limited minutes, put him a little bit in the first, maybe in the third. I would give him limited minutes because then you kind of wonder about foul trouble anyways with him, or him popping off, with the refs. So I don't even know at this point if you would play DeMarcus a lot. And then with KD, I really agree with Joy. I don't know if we're even going to see him in this series at all.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see him in this series. We talked about this a little bit last week. Where do you rank this Golden State dynasty, this current team, among the greatest NBA teams of all time? I'm a Michael Jordan zealot, so no one will ever replace.
I love MJ.
Will replace that for me. So I know you know then how we feel. But it's kind of getting to the point where, and I have no animosity towards Golden State. I never have, because I appreciate greatness. What can I say? And also because the Heat went through this whole phase of being hated. So I relate to what Golden State fans are going through, the whole thing about being bandwagon. Yes, people want to watch the best version of pro whatever it is.
Right.
You're going to have bandwagon fans. There's nothing wrong with that. Where do you rank this team all time, though?
I mean, I think I'm spoiled because I cover the team and I don't realize that I'm watching history being made. This is a team that when we look back now, when we're older, we're going to say this is one of the best teams. You got to admit that KD and Steph are some of the best shooters you've ever seen of all time. So you're seeing that, and you're seeing, two guys that first time playoff history to have a triple-double. I mean, there's just stats like that are out there that are just, haven't been done before. So they really are their own dynasty. And of course, you have to put the Celtics up there and the Bulls and the Lakers and maybe even San Antonio, some people would say, and then, of course, the Warriors. But I think this team, if they win this again, you've got to talk about them being one of the best of all time.
I'd say it's not debatable. They are the best of all time, mainly because you talk about the Bulls team, Celtics team, all these teams that have won finals in the past. You take some key elements away from those teams, they don't win those games. You've seen the Warriors without a head coach, without Steph Curry, without KD, without Draymond, without Iggy at times, and everyone just steps up to the call. And that's why I'm saying it's the best team of all time, because you're looking and you had a sample size over many years of different versions of this exact same team, and they win regardless.
Right, definitely. It doesn't matter who gets in that lineup, they're always going to produce. And, look at some of the other teams, they didn't have no one ever really talks about the bench, but, you look at some of the bench teams that the Warriors have had, they're not big name players, but they've been able to step up and been great role players. And Iguodala or Barbosa. You look at some of the guys in the past that they've had, and they always do whatever it takes to win. And so you have to kind of put him up there now as one of the best.
What is your gut feeling about what KD does?
Oh, gosh, it's tough to say. For a while, even when we would do interviews with him, it sounded like he may stay with the Warriors. Like, why would you leave this team that can continue to keep winning? But then I do think he wants to have the team. He's never really had a team on his own. But then you look at how sensitive and emotional he is. I mean, can you really see this guy in New York with the media?
No, I
mean,
can't.
He gets upset when, we say a couple of things, and the Bay Area is so soft. We don't really get after these guys. I mean, I can't imagine what he'll do with a couple bad games in New York. So you tend to wonder, or does he want to go to the Lakers where there's all this drama? Or, I could see him possibly going to the Clippers just because Jerry West was the reason why he signed with the Warriors. And the Clippers they're like 2 players away from, I think, winning it all. And I could really see him wanting to possibly go there because he can win. And he loves Jerry West. He loves Doc. So if he's going to go anywhere, I think he goes to Clippers.
Well, I don't know if you can see Brandon right now, but
Very
he's
excited when you
celebrating
said
because
that.
he wants him to go to the Clippers.
No.
I feel like that's the last team I want him to go to. To me, if he's going to do anything, stay in Golden State or go to the Knicks, because while the Nets are fun and I like the Nets, they're going to have to move D'Angelo Russell in order to make all of that fit, and I don't like that move because that's why the Nets are interesting right now. I understand everything you're saying about the New York media, and it's intense, and New York is just on another level with everything, how you live, your lifestyle, it just everything, because it's New York. But New York is the Mecca. Like, it's still the Mecca, and nobody can deny that. They're still the most profitable franchise in the NBA, despite all of their dysfunction over the years and not winning, and not even the last couple of years really having a huge name on their roster. So and it's the East. So if he's going to move to another team in the West, like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But the number one reason I hate that is because the Clippers move is because it would then become LeBron versus KD in the most obnoxious media way.
It's what it is
ever.
already. It's what it is already.
It is, but it's in a healthy discussion way. Now, if they're in the same building,
Yes, that's not because KD wants respect moving forward. He's got the MVPs, Finals MVPs. He's got the rings. He wants to be undisputed best player in the league, and he has to do it in LeBron's same building. That's why I think he goes out there. If he goes out, and he loves playing with teams that beat him up, right?
What do you think about that, Bonnie Jo?
Well, yeah, it's funny you said it because New York, I could see him loving the city, and he has all these different business projects with his agents out there, and the boardroom on ESPN. But then he loves being in the Bay Area because he can do so much with the .com and the gaming because he loves to do that as well. But then LA, he can do kind of the same thing. So I don't know. We'll see. I do know he wants to be the man, and it's hard for him to do that when you've got Steph always, in your rearview mirror. So I don't think he really likes that. But he may surprise us all and just stay. But I do see him. I don't know. I do see him maybe going to LA. And I mean, New York is close to DC, where he's from. So there's so many different elements. But I think if he wants to win, I think he goes to LA.
Well, before we move off from this finals matchup, you were a NBA scout for several. How many years were you an NBA scout?
12 years.
12 years. So, scouting the Raptors, who is, in my opinion, obviously besides Kawhi, the biggest X factor for the Raptors in making this a competitive series with Golden State, which most people are picking Golden State. I think the X factor is Kyle Lowry, because while Siakam is very important and, Gasol and Van Vliet, I feel like if Kyle Lowry can consistently doesn't have to have great games, but can consistently have good games throughout the series, they'll make this a long competitive series. But what player is the most important X factor for you for Toronto?
Besides Lowry, I would have to say Danny Green. I think that, he steps up and he gets the right amount of spacing. He can light it up. He can play defense. I think he is going to be the X factor of how the Raptors could win the series, is having Green be effective. And we've seen him in the postseason. He's been playing really well. The regular season, he was on and off and kind of streaky. But I think this matchup could be a great matchup for him. And like I said, he could really light it up. And so he's the guy that I'm looking for right now as the X factor is Green. And he's been there before, so he knows.
Yeah, he has the experience.
He was essentially
these guys, they get the deer in the headlights. Like we kind of saw with Giannis, and different guys can't handle that. He's been there before, so he knows what to do. So I think we could actually see something big from him.
All right, so you spent a lot of time with the Lakers, and the Lakers they love being in the news these days. And today is a very special day for the Lakers because they just got featured in a 20-page report on ESPN, just about all the dysfunction. There's a ton of different directions we can go in it. What is to you the number one issue with the Lakers right now?
I mean, I'm not surprised at the circus because it's been going on, since I was there and forever. I think the problem is that now it's like when you're losing, everything is magnified. When you're winning, they don't care what kind of circus is going on, what Kobe's doing, what Shaq is doing. They're winning. But now that they're losing, and you've got the face who was the face of the franchise, Magic Johnson, going on First Take, basically airing out all the dirty laundry, and then now you see this come out. I mean, I had heard about this before, that there was a lot of toxic environment with a lot of scouts and different people in the organization that weren't happy, that were getting, suffering from these panic attacks. I literally know a couple of guys that actually had to take time off away from the team while they were even during like scouting, the big tournament, March Madness. So there was a lot of times where it was just a toxic environment. I know there was an urgency to win, so Magic had to, he felt the need to tell people how he felt, but at the same time, I know he wasn't there. He was still involved with many of his other projects. He was still doing stuff with the Dodgers, and he had mentioned to Jeannie when he first, took on this role that he was going to give 100. I think he said 150% of his focus would just be that, but we all know it wasn't. I was told many times that his, desk and office looked like he'd never even stepped in there. So that was a problem with a lot of people, and then now with the whole thing. With Pelinka, them not getting along, I'm not surprised at all.
If you're Jeannie Buss right now and all of this is going on, what do you do? Like, to take Jeannie out of it, you're the owner of the Lakers right now. What do you do?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing I think that Jeannie does, and no fault to her, but she tends to hire people that are within, or people that used to be a former Laker, or people that she knows or she trusts. Some of us know that sometimes, when it comes to business, the people you're closest to, you don't trust in business. And so I think that, she needs to go out within. She needs to talk to someone, instead of having a million people in her ear, she needs to have just one confidant that can talk to her and have her, make a better decision that maybe can actually assist in the decision. Maybe she doesn't even make the decision, that's why it was so great when you have like a Jerry West there that can actually, you just sit back and you let him do his work. That's some franchises, they usually have the owner who's pretty silent, which she is, a silent owner, and then you have someone who's got the basketball mind and IQ that can get it done. And right now, there isn't that person in the position. I mean, Pelinka was an agent. He was Kobe's agent. He doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, will he? Maybe he'll surprise us all and he'll make some moves in this offseason. But right now, I just don't think these moves have been good for the Lakers' tradition and their history.
Well, one on the court question for the Lakers, because eventually they're gonna have to play basketball. Mm-hmm. What do you do, or what do you think the Lakers should do as far as waiting for free agency? Does Anthony Davis even fit with them? There's a rumor now about Bradley Beal, who I actually think would be a good fit. What move would you make to actually improve the Lakers? What move would you like to see happen to improve their roster for next year?
Well, I know that definitely LeBron wants AD, and he also, even maybe Kyrie. So, which is funny enough that they would, join forces again. Kawhi, I mean, look at him. I mean, the best two-way player there. I mean, he could be great as a Laker, but does LeBron want, someone like Kawhi there? Because he still wants someone where he could still be the star. So it'll be interesting to see. They have to make some kind of move. They do have to. Bradley Beal would be perfect, actually, with the Lakers. That's a good point. But I don't know. Maybe they have to do something, though. They can't go another offseason and not get significant free agents. So they're going to have to do something. I mean, Klay Thompson, having a shooter like him, everyone always needs a shooter, and you have Klay, but I don't think he's going to leave the Warriors. So I think Kawhi would be, or Kyrie possibly could be one of their best bets.
Well, before we let you go, my producers told me that you have 13 dogs. Is that accurate?
Yes, they're at my parents' ranch, so they're not all here.
Oh, okay.
But,
I was
my parents. Yeah, my parents have 30 acres, so we have everything you can think of: horses,
Okay.
and cows, and pigs,
Yeah.
and chickens, and
That makes it
everything.
feel much less dramatic.
That doesn't sound like enough dogs,
Right.
actually.
Right.
yeah, if you put 13 dogs in like just a small
Right.
that would be ridiculous. Like a
Okay,
quarter.
but you are, yeah, I was a little worried, but that makes much more sense. But you are very passionate about animals, and you founded the nonprofit Hounds and Heroes. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing with that.
Yes, Hounds and Heroes. I basically kind of my two passions, which were military and rescuing animals, and so I kind of combined the two, my two passions, and was able to figure out a way to do that. It's rescuing dogs from the shelter, and then we train them as therapy and service dogs for our veterans that return back from the war, that are struggling from PTSD, TBI, amputees, and anything like that, to kind of help these veterans move on with their lives. Since the suicide rate is so high, we've seen that this really helps.
Where can people donate? Where can they get more information or get involved?
It's Hounds and Heroes, so houndsandheroes.com, and we're also on our social media as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for all your insight. You're welcome anytime that you are in LA, so let us know. We'd love to have you in studio.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I love being in studio. It's easier, huh?
Yeah, but this was perfect too, though.
And because I can't see Brandon, I just see like his water bottle.
We're still working on how to get the feedback monitor. There he goes. Can you see him now? There's his face. Yeah, and then he drops something. It's okay. But thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the finals.
Okay, thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
With
it. With it. Quit it.
What?
With it. We about to turn up in this bitch.
All right, what am I winning or quitting today?
The Raptors quieted their haters Saturday night, defeating Giannis and his Bucks 4 games in a row to win the East. Kawhi Leonard is leading the Toronto Raptors to their first NBA Finals game ever, and it looks like he's having the time of his life doing it. But, Joy, Kawhi will not be a Toronto Raptor next season. With it or quit it?
So I know that I had a strong opinion that he was leaving. Like I said, like deuces, and it was being very funny.
Last episode.
It's not too long ago. I think it was 2, but maybe it might have been 1.
Okay,
anyway, the point is, I have softened on it a lot. Because I may have underestimated how serious the city of Toronto is about making this happen. So they started this Kawhi and Dine thing.
Kawhi and Dine.
Kawhi and Dine.
Yes.
Kawhi and Dine.
Yes.
Which I knew about. He gets free food for life at any of these restaurants.
Right.
Which, by the way, Brandon and I are available for any campaign that LA wants to start about
offering
offering
free
free
rhyme
food.
Like that
No,
one
it doesn't.
does.
Just joy. You don't have to put a sticker up.
No,
You just choose an email. Maybe I'm Crazy Podcast.
Just text us like,
right.
hey, come through.
You
It's
can come
good.
through and eat.
Maybe you
whatever
can eat
want.
here for free.
Yeah.
These windows even.
No, maybe though.
Yeah, no. We definitely come in
Right,
there.
because we're down, because we eat
for
food.
the free food. Yeah.
But they have that going on. A condo store realty incorporated is like some realtor bajillionaire offered him like a free penthouse if he stays, which sounds great, except for if he takes one of these, everyone already knows where he lives. So
Yeah.
maybe want to slide that deal on the low. But I get what they're doing, and they're really pushing to keep him there. And all that stuff was nice, but that really wasn't what pushed me over the edge with it. Watching that game and the way that Toronto reacted, like the city reacted, I gotta tell you, I underestimated you, Toronto.
Yeah.
Never been, so I don't know, but I've heard only great things.
Right. But y'all out here.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a very real way, in a very diverse way.
Yes.
You know,
we see all of you.
all of you.
Yes, the crayon
all
box.
of your beautifulness, right? And just every shade from everywhere, and you all appreciate each other.
Yes.
You know, we could learn a little bit from Toronto.
It's hard not to get behind.
It is,
Yes.
you know, unless, you know, you're just got the hate in your heart, and we can't help you, you know.
And also, yeah.
Got to cure yourself.
Yeah.
But the point is, how do you leave that? That's a whole country behind you. It's a lot. And I get it. It's taxes and stuff, but yeah, everybody pays taxes. Taxes is just, maybe this is just my opinion because I've accepted it so much living in California.
Right.
You got to pay taxes.
Yes.
I know it's a thing they don't warn you about in life. Like when it's like one of the first things you should learn.
Yes.
Right? Like when you cross the
100%.
street, look both ways. Everyone knows that. It's just fundamental. It's one of the first things that you teach a human. The second thing you should teach them is you got to pay taxes. That's how it works.
Well, I was in the Grove yesterday, and someone was parked and said, "What a ripoff!" And I was like, I have not heard that in years, because people who live on the coast never say that because it's just a part of living on the coast. Yeah, it's
Yes.
just like
We
you
pay
live
for
here.
everything.
What a ripoff.
We pay extra money to buy water bottles.
To be here, we pay so much more money.
Right.
And it's so great.
It is great.
It's so
Look
nice.
at your shirt. You love it.
Just I wanted to make sure they said conceived in California, but Michelle said don't do that.
Is that true?
Yeah, I was born here,
Oh, I didn't
Orange
know that.
County.
You got
Shut
that
up.
shirt made?
No, stop. Let's talk about
It'd be
the
a very
Kawhi
weird shirt
Raptors.
anyway. Don't do that. Anyway, the point is, I don't know if he can leave that country. Like, I don't think he can do it because it's not even about the city anymore. It's really the whole country. And I know it's very expensive and he pays extra taxes and all that stuff. And he's a California kid and all that sounds real nice. He's not going to the Lakers, so just stop it. Kawhi doesn't want any of those problems. And the Clippers are very interesting, and I would like to see him on the Clippers if he goes anywhere. But I don't know. I've been behind the Raptors all season. I really like it. It's nice to have a fun team in the East that is interesting and not dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And I'm down for him to stay.
But who are you pulling for in the finals?
Toronto.
You're pulling for. No, I can't. Because if he wins, he could stay, and that's why that can't happen. I need Kawhi to be in LA. I need Kawhi to go elsewhere. He's got to lose. So that's why I'm going for the Warriors.
Brandon, I'm an agent of chaos.
I
don't root for
fair.
that.
That's fair.
I'm
Kevin
not,
Durant's going to
I'm
give us
not
that
going to be
regardless.
upset if the Golden State wins, but
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Toronto.
Okay,
Way more interesting.
not going to happen.
All right, what's
Okay.
next?
Speaking of the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors are gearing up for a trip to Toronto for the first two games of the NBA Finals without their two-time Finals MVP on the court. Kevin Durant has no return date for the NBA Finals, and it has me thinking, Joy, this is Kevin Durant's last series as a Warriors. With it or quit it?
I am going to wit it. I don't think that he comes back for this series at all. I think everyone's being very optimistic about the nature of this injury.
You said they lied off top.
I'm not saying that they lied. I'm just saying this
Off top, they
injury
lied.
is a very serious injury, and you have to rest. It's not something you can get some massages and rush back from.
The
So
one we know about, the one they told us about, or the real one?
no, the one they told us about.
Okay,
calf
the
strain.
real one must be real serious.
No, if he tore his Achilles, we're gonna know he tore his Achilles. All right, it's a fact.
We know LeBron messed his hand up till after the game in the finals last year. Remember that? He came out with a cast.
Yeah, I don't think he tore his Achilles. I think it's a calf strain. But the bigger picture is, I think this is the last we've seen him there. I do think he's going to New York. / hoping he goes to New
I'll say
York.
you're still on this.
I am. I'm speaking into existence like LeVar Ball. Undefeated, never lost. All right. But I'm seeing a lot of parallels with KD in Golden State and LeBron when he was in Miami.
Talk to me.
Okay. So there's been some talk as of recent. He was just recently asked about this in a press conference too, about like if it feels like it's KD and the Warriors, and it kind of has always felt like that
Yes.
since he got here. It's always been Steph's team. We talk about how much Steph has sacrificed to
Yep.
allow KD to get here, and the leadership Steph has to allow KD to be
Yes.
KD, and it's kind of always felt like the Warriors are here and KD is just an addition to this. Like he's not part of it.
No.
And they've had some beefs. Obviously, him and Draymond, like there's been some things going on there. The conversation all year this year has been surrounding whether he's going to leave or stay. Not from him directly, but obviously everyone on the outside.
Right. And he's had to answer those questions all year long.
Right, which has added to this feeling. And when LeBron was in Miami, when he first came, obviously the city wrapped their arms around him, which I'm not saying Golden State, the fans and the city haven't embraced Kevin Durant. They have.
Yeah.
But there's always kind of that feeling of, okay, this is going to come to an end a little bit. Like the fans didn't really want to think about LeBron leaving, and you know, everyone definitely hated Miami. Everyone doesn't necessarily hate Golden State because they're not really a controversial group.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of winning, and people root against that.
Tired of it.
There's just a lot of parallels there. And now coming into free agency, it has that same feeling of if he leaves, it's going to be like, all right, well, he was there. He came to win his championships. He got his championships. He was in a winning environment, a championship level organization. Now he can take that blueprint and go to another organization and implement it there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I've always compared the New York move to the LeBron going back to Cleveland move, because everyone loved the LeBron going back to Cleveland move, right? Everyone except for Miami. This whole I'm going home, and it was obnoxious, and the song, and just like, it just like triggers me when I can't even hear the song. But
bad song.
I understand that New York is not KD's home, but it is the mecca of basketball. And you can hate the Knicks all you want, and believe me, like, I'm a Heat fan, so I get it. But I do love the idea of the Knicks being relevant, and I love that their front office is the only all African American front office. I understand their owner's their owner, and he like that's you can't.
He's
gonna be there.
Yeah.
That's not changing, but they managed to do it in Cleveland. Like LeBron did manage to overcome a dysfunctional owner and a dysfunctional franchise in Cleveland and bring them a championship. And if KD can do that, there's just a lot of parallels there.
The amount of ifs that led to LeBron winning that first championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers is the amount of ifs that would have to come along for KD to win one.
Sure, so, and that's what would make it all the more dramatic.
But it was the winning of the championship that solidified the move. Like, the feelings about LeBron going there were one thing, but then when he started switching up coaches and Kyrie and him weren't on the same page and Kevin Love wasn't shooting as well and there was confusion, the move didn't look so smart. Then he won and it solidified it. I'm saying we got another 2 years to see if KD's new home is going to be even worth the move.
Yeah, well, that's what happens sometimes. You got to wait. That's how it works. Okay. Like, you can't rush the sauce. But I'm looking forward to it because I think everyone is tired of this Golden State situation. Everyone has loved watching Golden State play without KD. They love this brand of basketball again, which is only adding to the narrative of him leaving. I just think that the parallels of LeBron, the LeBron to Miami, back to Cleveland, and KD to Golden State, to New York, the narratives are so similar. And it would be awesome to see that play out the same way in KD bringing a championship to New York.
That's if KD went to the Washington Wizards. That's him going home. You want to see that?
No, I understand. Okay. I understand. KD is not from New York.
I know there's a difference, but I'm saying there is an actual team in his hometown that needs some helping and saving.
No, nobody wants that. Don't even talk about it. Stop. Okay. No, that's not happening. Nobody wants that. All right, what's next? Jeremy does.
Ever since Magic Johnson went on the press tour, poo-pooing on Rob Pelinka and the dysfunction surrounding the Lakers, current and former Lakers staffers jumped to the chance to tell the world how bad it is working for the Lakers. Joy, the dysfunction surrounding the Lakers can't get any worse. Wit it or quit it.
Oh, I mean, quit it. Anything can get worse.
No, everyone sounded off. We've heard the janitor's testimony. Like, we get it. It's been bad. It's been bad for years.
Anything can get worse.
Okay.
Don't ever underestimate the Lakers. All right, I'm done doing that.
Especially in Hollywood.
I agree with you. I didn't learn anything in this report except for the fact that Rob Pelinka makes up stories about dinners that never happened with people that are no longer with us. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. I don't even know what. I don't even want to get into that right now. But I didn't learn anything. All right, we knew that this report was coming. Actually, we've known this for months that this report was coming. So this should shock no one. This is part of the reason why Magic left. So I still don't blame Magic for leaving or blame Magic for saying everything he needed to say. Magic had to do that. He was getting railroaded. And the only thing that I take from this is, okay, this is great. Like, everything happened and it's bad. It's a bad environment. So everyone's gone, right? No, Pelinka is still there. Now, I'm not suggesting that someone should get fired or lose their job. I'm just saying, what did I learn here? That you're continuing to run a dysfunctional franchise? Here's what it is.
Yeah.
A good organization in sports has one discussion in the news: the actual team. And the coach, but the team and the coaches. There's no conversation about the front office. There's no conversation about the owner. Now, that's not to say that owners aren't visible. They're billionaires. So you tend to notice them, okay?
Right.
They go places and do things, all right, in high-profile ways.
Right.
So it's fine to know who the owner is, but to have conversations about the owner or conversations about the front office means your organization is not functioning well, because that is not what we come to see. No one comes to see the owner. Nobody. No one. Maybe one or two weirdos, which you should be concerned about.
Yes.
Everyone else is there to see the product on the court or the field. When you look at organizations that are well run, let's take the Spurs, for example.
Okay.
Who do we talk about? We talk about the team and we talk about Greg Popovich. Now, granted, Greg Popovich is a part of the front office, but we don't discuss his front office moves. We discuss him as a coach.
Right.
We never talk about R.C. Buford. Why would we need to? He's not out there. We don't never talk about the owner of the Spurs. Ever.
No.
You don't need to do it. Think about Golden State. Do we talk about Bob Myers? The only reason we talk about Bob Myers is saying that he's been doing a good job. Do we talk about Lacob? No, we just say he's a good owner. That's it. We don't discuss them. We talk about the product on the court. All we talk about with the Lakers is Jeannie Buss and the front office dysfunction. When was the last time we actually had a conversation about what they are doing on the court? Or what they should be doing on the court?
The last injury that pushed them out of the playoffs.
How long ago was that?
Yeah,
trade deadline?
Long time.
Since then, it's been nothing but the front office. This is a bad situation. The only way to fix this is to hire someone to run the team. And it's just like Bonnie Jill said, this has been going on forever. The only difference is now we know all about it because Magic Johnson can afford to quit his job as president of the Lakers and then talk about it because he doesn't need another job as president of an NBA team. Well, this stuff goes on at lots of different organizations to this level. The difference is people can't afford to talk about it because they need to either keep that job or they want to get a job in the future. And they know that burning bridges is not going to allow them to do that because you want to keep stuff in-house. This is a disaster. There's no way the Lakers can overcome this. If you're a free agent, there is no reason you would want to come to the Lakers. This is not a proper working environment.
It may not be a proper working environment, but you're underestimating the egos of star athletes, superstar athletes in the NBA who think that their presence brings stability to whatever franchise they're at because their presence brings winning to a franchise. So I hear you, but this is the perfect opportunity for someone to throw the red cape on and be like, you know what, I'm going to save the Lakers. This is a quick way to change your entire legacy in 2 short years if you're a player who can do so.
You can come to the Lakers. You're not going to overcome the Lakers. I hear you, and you're probably right. But you can't overcome this level of dysfunction. When you have 24 people in the organization talking about how bad it is, it's bad. That's just facts.
Yeah.
There's no way around this. I'm disappointed that it hasn't been fixed yet, but I mean, as the basketball turns, I suppose, because this is not changing.
Who is there to hire? Rob Pelinka is the one making decisions.
There is someone appropriate out there to hire to run an NBA franchise. Someone out there has experience. I don't know who it is. Hire someone away from another team, pay some money, and make it happen. But you need somebody who has run an NBA franchise before who can set a culture and fix this disaster. It's not fixable the way it's currently set up.
No.
We're just going to keep riding out like this? I prefer it. It gives me content every week.
No,
I'm fine with it.
The Lakers are... I'm saying that Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka aren't hiring anyone because that would be them giving away their power, and they seem to like that very much. So
people with power tend to like to keep their power.
Okay.
I mean, that's how it goes.
We gotta win. Get some winners in the round, and the winning will solve all.
Okay. Hear ye, hear ye.
What?
Baker Mayfield is being petty. Okay, so we've got a lot to cover here. All right, so Baker did an interview with Complex, and he had a very, very fiery quote for my co-host Colin Cowherd. As you know, Colin and Baker have a
love-hate relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just to make it clear, Colin does not take this seriously. So
at all.
We do a serious show, like we do the Herd from noon to 3 on FS1 weekdays. But he doesn't hate Baker Mayfield because he doesn't hate anybody. This is what we do. We talk about sports and give our opinions.
Yes.
And athletes are the people that play sports, so therefore we discuss athletes from time to time.
Opinions on them.
Right.
Yeah.
So no one has a vendetta against Baker Mayfield. Colin's not trying to ruin his career or make up salacious stories. No. Or about Odell Beckham either. No. Everything that we discuss is actually based off of things that happened.
He's only 26 years old, Joy.
Well,
you also once did have a vendetta against Cleveland, being from Pittsburgh. I'll just say that for you.
Did.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, the point is, Baker said to Complex, he was asked about the feud with Colin. He said, there's people like that who are really abusing their position, abusing a platform to a point where people are going to listen to it. He's supposed to bring out facts, but he chooses to put out irrational opinions. People can say what they want. They can say, I'm really not supposed to comment on this, but a liar is a liar, and a guy is really just full of it, needs to be put in his place. I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not always right. I know my flaws, and I'd love for people to correct me so I get better. He's a guy who thinks he's always right. He throws people's names under the bus. He can say what he wants about me, but as soon as he starts talking about my teammates, that's when I have a problem. Baker, on Monday afternoons during the show, we do it every Monday. It's called Colin Was Right, Colin was wrong.
Yes.
Colin was right.
Yeah.
Say it with me. Colin was wrong.
Colin
was wrong.
Yeah.
We do it every Monday. So literally, he does say if he's wrong.
Yeah. Literally. Just got to wait for a week.
Just got to watch, every Monday. And then throughout the week, if something changes, we talk about it.
Yeah.
So literally, no. Now, here's the thing about Baker. All right, and they got into it with Colin like a couple weeks ago. Colin and I did the bit. We talked about it last week where we listed all of Odell's biggest moments.
Right.
Only really one of them was on the field, aside from the Josh Norman spats.
Yeah.
One was the catch, which obviously was a loss to the Cowboys. Anyway, the point is, Baker and Odell went back and forth with him about that. Here's the thing. I said from the beginning of Baker's career that Baker should be starting for the Browns.
Yes.
I thought they put him in a horrible position, keeping Hugh Jackson there. Not anything against Hugh Jackson, but it was not the right situation. Clearly, I was right about that. Clearly, they should have started him. He's turned the franchise around from winning no games to going 7-8-1, which is tremendous.
Yes.
They have incredible expectations this year. They've added a ton of talent, including Odell. No one is rooting for Cleveland to fail. All we're saying is, can you calm down for 5 seconds? Cleveland has been terrible for decades. That's not how this works. Enjoy the process of growth. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's experience. It's life. Relish in the ups and downs and the carousel. And look at the colors and enjoy this beautiful environment that you have to create a culture. Relax. It's going to be okay. This is Colin's job. Give opinions. That's what he gets paid to do. He's pretty good at it. He's been doing it for a very long time.
He is good.
He's pretty successful.
Like his
all right, and
metaphors.
he doesn't do it by making stuff up. Everything we talked about with Odell actually happens. Odell is an incredible talent. Everyone wants Odell to be good. Everyone. Nobody wants Odell to fail.
Yeah.
Nobody wants Odell to fail, except for maybe the Giants, which no one cares about right now.
Yeah.
No
one cares about now.
Trust me. Nobody.
Damn,
Okay?
it's all facts. I like this take.
I like using facts.
I
Hello.
didn't know where he was going to go with this take, but it's all factual. I haven't had to shake my head once in disagreement.
Because I'm keeping it 100. And also, Baker decided he's going to start selling anti-Colin shirts. Now, this is where I come in.
Yes.
So, I cannot be questioned with my support of Baker. It's unquestioned.
No.
So anyone from Cleveland who wants to come at me with that, do your research. I don't have time for it. But these shirts are wonderful, and they must be collected. First of all, they're $30. So I'm wondering if some of these dollars are going to charity. Would make me feel better about it.
Right.
Colin said we're going to purchase some, so I'm going to wait and see if he gets them first. Save the dollars. But
I really want to know what
the
this
shirts
fabric
say.
is.
The shirts say, yeah, it's a good fabric.
Like, we need a soft
Because
tee.
see, like this T-shirt is not the best fabric. Like, it's a good shirt,
Right.
but it's not the comfy kind.
Yes.
It's like just the regular cotton.
Right. But, like, right now, like, at the weight I'm at, I'm looking for more starchy shirts to, like, hide imperfections versus, like, the softer ones that just kind of just lay
cling,
on you.
they cling.
Yeah, they just kind of
feel you,
show
but
what
they
your
don't-
body is
they
like.
don't have the
without it.
skin the same.
Right. There's a difference.
Right.
You just got to look, know what you're looking for.
You know what you need?
What's that?
You got to do the hack, because I'm short, so I do the high waisted, just a tiny pull up on the waist.
Just a little, yeah.
Just you gotta be afraid to go to the ladies sometimes.
Yeah, but I got the.
They had it figured out.
Yeah, going over.
Everybody in the 80s had a small waist
love
because
handles.
all of the pants were high.
Okay.
They were onto something.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, don't know how we got on that. The shirts say.
I was about to go farther.
The shirts say the land versus the herd. Being a member of the herd,
Yes.
that is a shirt made for me because for those of you who don't know, I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we run Cleveland. And I always get pushback on this from people from Cleveland, and I have to remind you, we do. Yes, you have the basketball team. That's fine. We can claim whoever we want, which is great. I chose to claim the Chicago Bulls. Good decision for me. Worked out well in my childhood. And I'm not jealous of anyone from Cleveland in that regard whatsoever. We had the hockey team, which is a tremendous, tremendous organization. And we don't need to discuss football because we dominate. Absolutely dominate.
You have.
Got
Traditionally,
yeah.
you have.
Got us in college football, but that's kind of all of Ohio. So you don't really get to Cleveland don't really get
Yes.
to claim Ohio State. That's not how that works. It's like all of Ohio.
Yeah. They have
So
a
anyway,
Cleveland
the point is, I have had beef with Cleveland my entire life since birth. So I don't need to pretend like this is about Baker because I've fully supported Baker. I want to be very clear. I've got a lot of respect for Browns fans because you guys know how to suffer. And as a Dolphins fan, I can relate.
Yeah, respect it.
This seems like an additional suffering because in trying to make a T-shirt that is rallying against your show, they've elevated the herd to being on the same level as an entire city.
Number
we
one
are.
show in Cleveland.
I mean, we are.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you argue against what you just said?
I'm not, but it seems weird for them to try to diss you by arguing that point.
Well, if you don't have any haters, you're not popping.
Amen.
So I
need
think
some
if
more,
you just,
too.
if
Get
you-
your haters up.
If you just pay attention to that concept, then you can figure out how this works. I can't quite figure out. I go through waves with Baker. Sometimes I feel like he's in on it. You know what I mean? And then
Yes.
sometimes I'm like, no,
yeah.
it's a little serious.
Yeah.
It's a little
Count to
serious.
10.
We're throwing some words out there, and then it's like, no, we're back, we're good, it's fun.
That's
And
no
it's like-
tongue in cheek
it's
in that copy.
Yeah, it's so like this,
Yeah.
And so from day to day, I wonder. But the shirt is good, and I believe we purchased some, and it's just funny. It's really amazing.
They're remarkably underwhelming, but the name of the show is on it, so yeah, purchase them.
I mean, the idea that everyone hates Cleveland is the funniest thing in the world to me, because I believe it started with the Cavs. It was like the
Yeah.
land versus everyone.
Yeah.
No.
Don't care.
No. The
who? What?
No. Everyone wanted Cleveland to win. Everyone. Do you remember the whole thing I mentioned earlier?
yeah.
Like, I'm going home. Like, no. You don't get to steal that. All right. Everyone hated Miami. Trust me. I lived it. Everyone hated Miami.
Okay.
There's a very notorious picture, I believe it's in a Sports Nation poll, where they did like, who wants the Heat to win? And it was like literally the entire world was the other color except for Florida. Everyone
Which finals?
was all of them. Everyone hated Miami. Okay, you're knocking stuff over with your crown. Anyway, the point
Baller.
is no, and I love it, and everyone just needs to realize it's not really that deep. Like, it's really good for a living. What is going on? All right, we're done. Are you serious?
It's time for high key, low key.
High key, low key.
That's good. We got canned.
What did I do? I said high. Well, how did I do it before?
I like that. That's what it
It really
is.
should be like high key.
Low key. Maybe you do the high one and I do, or we flip it. I do the high one, you do the
Okay.
low. Okay. High key. Low key. We'll see that.
It's
how that
really
works.
bad.
We'll see
You like
how that
it?
works.
Is it better?
Get
All right.
closer.
We're working on it. Yeah. All right. So high key, Drake is the star of the playoffs,
Man,
and low key, we need to make some rules.
facts.
Gotta
Big
make some
facts.
rules.
Big
Okay,
facts.
so I love this. All right, I love that Drake is everywhere for Toronto. The Raptors have been just fun. The Raptors have been fun all
Okay,
playoffs.
slow down.
No,
Slow
I'm not
all
gonna
the
slow
way
down. I'm not
down.
gonna slow all the way
They
down.
lost the first two games of the Eastern.
Yeah, thank you. Made it interesting.
Okay, that was fun. Okay, continue. I'm sorry. I'll stay
Giannis
quiet.
got some shine, MVP. Anyway, Drake's been out here and he's upsetting people. Mm-hmm. He upset the Bucks coach, which just look. I know this was a while ago. All right, it's bye Bucks, but like after a loss, are you really talking about Drake? The answer is I don't want to talk about Drake. Let's focus on what's going on.
Okay,
on the court.
that is fair.
Like
that is
there's
fair.
just certain situations where you just don't answer the question.
But it's Drake though. Like you can't not answer a question
No,
about
you
Drake.
can be like, I am not paying attention to Drake because I'm paying attention to us losing.
That's fair. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But the more they lose, the bigger Drake gets in a way.
Yes. Well, we've already talked about Toronto and they're out here and Drake is out here and the finals are going to be so fun and the energy in that building is going to be crazy and I can't even imagine what we're going to see from Drake. But there's been a lot of talk about Drake's fandom, which I'm fine with. I do not like being the fan police. I do not want to be the popo under any circumstances. And
There's a curse around his fandom.
right, because he bounces from team to team.
I know, but I'm
It's much like the Justin Bieber curse, which we don't talk about anymore because he's stopped doing that.
Oh, with the ladies. No.
Anyway, the point is, the one
Shot my
team,
shot.
I don't have a problem. Like he's notoriously a Kentucky fan,
Yes.
but he does have KD's number and Steph's number tattooed on his arm.
Yep.
He's a bunch of
Yep.
bars about the Warriors
Yep.
and
So maybe he'll wear a Raptors shirt or something, but underneath said shirt, he'll be tatted with Durant and Curry's numbers.
So
nuts.
it's strange, but I will say he is stuck with the Raptors now. That's the thing.
He's from Toronto.
He's from Toronto. He is out here with the Raptors. There will be no switching of the teams for Drake when it comes to the NBA.
I'm looking for
His name is on the practice facility.
No, he's clearly been in
Yeah.
the studio
Well, his
around
record
these
label name.
times of being in the games. Like when that Kawhi hit that shot, he said, "I might use this image for a single." Like, Drake is going to make some music from this, and that's what I'm interested in.
Of course.
You know
Where
what
is
I'm
the
saying?
song, Drake? We're
But,
waiting.
the
We
Bucks-
need this. We need the song before the final
That's
starts.
what I'm saying. Yes, and the Bucks have already banned Drake music from being played in the arena.
What? That's so petty. I love that.
You gotta draw a line somewhere.
That
They're
is
setting rules. They're like, you know what?
hilarious.
No more of this stuff.
Yeah.
No nonstop.
You know what? Good for you,
no
Bucks.
Inner feelings.
A little too late for
no
that.
hotline bling.
But
How'd that work?
and it's going to limit your song selection tremendously.
Yeah, I think the Warriors probably still play
Yeah.
Drake.
Ask
yeah.
the Seahawks
Well,
about future music.
So anyway, the point is, I think, and he did a little rubbing of the shoulders
Yes,
on Nick
yes,
Nurse, which
yeah.
I thought was hilarious.
He knew
Here's
he
the
wasn't
thing.
supposed to do it too. He
yeah,
did real quick.
Like,
He was like, "Oh, my bad." He damn near said sorry while he's doing it. My bad.
I loved it. And I know that you're supposed to stay in your seat, and it's probably really sucks for the people that sit behind him because he's standing up the whole time.
He's everywhere.
But you just gonna have to deal with it, and it's great, and it's made the playoffs way more interesting and
Stick
fun.
one team though, Drake.
Well, for the NBA, we're gonna there's a circle around it,
Yeah.
and then Toronto's inside, and that's the thing now. That's
Okay.
how it's gonna stay.
All right.
You can root for other people, but you gotta the team is the Raptors.
That's your team.
All right, so high key, New Orleans is on the map, and I'm here for it. So Master P and Romeo offered Zion a $20 million shoe deal with Moniati.
I mean, are you looking for me to correct it?
Yes. And
won't.
a role in their sequel to their movie, I Got the Hookup Too.
Woo!
Now,
Now, okay, now.
we love,
Now we're talking.
We love P.
Now we're cooking with
and
grease.
P is an OG in the basketball game.
Yes.
In the hoop world.
Yes.
So,
Master P is out here.
You know, I saw the story, and I gotta tell you, I think I'm coming. All right. So I was with everyone on the initial reaction to the Pelicans winning the #1 overall pick, which was, how does this happen?
Right.
We've done so much
Yes, it's
to
unfair.
just,
What just happened?
Right. Like the
It was
basketball
very
gods
fast.
have
Yeah.
decided that we don't deserve we don't deserve Zion to the Knicks, and I blame James Dolan for that. But
Ping pong balls.
I
Whatever.
love New Orleans as a city, and I love the flavor, and I love the culture. And yeah, I mean, hello,
No, it makes
some of the
sense.
best
I
food in
tasted
the
it when you
world.
said it.
The scents, the sounds, they come to you.
Yeah, beignets.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Gonna definitely need a dietitian there. Zionist.
Yeah, because
However,
when you move to a new place, get some new foods,
yes,
new cuisines.
it stacks on you fast.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think I'm kind of coming around to
How?
it. I just think there's just an opportunity for a culture explosion there,
Oh,
and I'm really here
Yeah.
for it.
I know, but that's the thing though. Like the more if we talk about it that way, then we're addressing the fact that Anthony Davis just wasn't that years ago.
Right,
and he just wasn't,
and that's okay.
And he
Because
isn't now.
everybody, and he's not, and everybody has different personality, and we know that Zion is incredibly he's magnetic,
Mm-hmm.
and he's full of energy, and he just plays with this happiness, and
And he's
people are
waiting to
drawn to
explode.
him.
Just things about him.
The point is, I really feel like if we just change our mindset on the Pelicans in general, they have a new GM. David Griffin is a good GM, right?
Kirk told us.
They have the opportunities to make some trades and get some fun young players. I mean, could you imagine if they? I know they're not going to trade with the Lakers, but they might. And if they did, like if they have Lonzo and
Joy.
Kuzma and Zion, that's a fun team.
No, you're trying to convince yourself while talking to me about it. That's what I'm laughing at.
All right, well, here, let me put you
And
this
I
way.
hear-
Okay?
I'm
It
hearing
is
you.
inevitable in your life that you
Yeah.
now have to watch Pelican games. So you have one or two options. You can be
That's so
sad
true.
about it and sit in a corner and suck on your thumb, or you can have a positive attitude about it. And Master P, thank you very much.
Yes.
You have reminded me that there is a lot of culture and fun in New Orleans,
Yes. Silver
and
linings.
this could be a new venture for the NBA.
A rebirth. No Limit Soldiers being rebirthed through Zion Williamson. I can get behind.
I'm behind it.
Gold-plated tank in
We
the,
didn't. Gold
in the
ceilings
arena.
was just a figment of our imagination before Master P. Like that was.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to
Elevators in the
happen.
crib.
And I like it. All right. Finally, high key, the WNBA tipped off. And low key, our girl Jordin Canada
Ballin'.
had herself a game.
Mm.
16 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals. Now, what's interesting about the Storm this year, we obviously know Breanna Stewart's out, unfortunately, with her injury, having to play overseas. Sue Bird had knee surgery, so she's out indefinitely as well. So wide open for our girl Jordin in Seattle with the Storm. So watch the WNBA, and they have a new president now.
Yes.
Which is a new commissioner. So she's the first actual commissioner of the WNBA.
Yep.
So we have high expectations for you, and we need to get that back on track.
She was coached by Muffin McGraw, Notre Dame's women's coach back in the day. And then she coached at Lehigh. So the new commissioner. So I'm saying, like, it's just.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't know that.
Yeah, just optimism. Optimism leaking all around.
Yeah, see? You know what I mean?
WNBA.
Positive today.
Yeah, of course.
Positive about New Orleans.
Yeah.
I can't say it right. How do you say it?
Nolans.
Yeah, I keep
Nolans.
saying, I lose a new. Nolans.
You gotta see when you say words, you think about how they're spelled, I think, and I just think about how I heard people say it. You know what I'm saying? Loser power rankings. These are the losers of the week.
Very good.
I didn't move any of my hands, so I had energy for the
focus.
Yeah.
So LeBron's not in the finals, as we know, and there have been some ratings dips because of that. Adam Silver said the ratings have gone down, mostly because LeBron is not in the East. Now, of course, they don't get any ratings from the Raptors, being that it's a different country.
Right.
And the Bucks have the smallest TV market in the East. So that could have played a part in it as well. Now, why do we care about ratings? You don't care about ratings. But it is something to the effect of LeBron James and him not being in the East and not being in the finals.
Absolutely.
Which I kind of wanted to mention because I do feel like this has been an opportunity for all of us to focus on the rest of the NBA.
It
And
has.
we've been talking all about the Lakers front office and not about LeBron James and the team that's going to actually play.
Yes.
I think LeBron is going to have a year for the reckoning. I think he's going to come back. Now, I don't think that's going to necessarily mean that they're going to win a championship because he still needs help. Okay. I think they'll make the playoffs and in a respectable fashion.
Okay.
And I think they'll make some, a few sounds.
But why do you think LeBron's geared up for a reckoning?
Because I think that LeBron has reached a point in his career where he decided he wasn't going to be involved in the front office moves. Either he wasn't able to be involved in the front office moves or he chose not to be involved in the front office moves. And now it's a complete disaster over there. And he's clearly distanced himself from it, which is smart. They didn't give him Ty Lue, which they should have done. And we can go on and on. But I think that he's had his first major injury. LeBron takes excellent care of his body, as we know.
Yep.
So I think he's going to come back in incredible shape, in the right shape that he needs to be in at this point in his career. And I think he's going to dominate. Now, I still think that KD is the best player in the NBA, but this whole dropping of LeBron, just I know everyone's been waiting for this demise because that's what we do. We build them up to break them down.
Yeah.
I don't, but it's a thing that, people like to do. That's what I think.
LeBron has been indestructible for a very long time. He's been Mr. Dependable, showing up all the playoff games. The injury bug finally caught up to him. I thought LeBron was the greatest because he was just always there and present and made it to the finals. Injury caught up to him. I'm recognizing LeBron as a human. I see that. But I also know the monster inside of him, and he's going to click. His first time ever he's got a chance to, around this time of the year, be sitting around with Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook smoking cigars, listening to Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Just hanging out in the backyard.
Cigar thing is not great, but
yeah.
Listen, I love a good cigar, but not good for the lungs.
Michael Jordan, the real GOAT, did a lot worse.
Yeah, he did. He was also built.
himself.
He was also built like that.
Oh, okay. LeBron. We just talked about LeBron. Don't do that. That's not right now. Okay. But anyways, yes, I agree with you.
All right.
LeBron's great.
Next is the NBA MVP, which Heller so eloquently dubbed yesterday the Miss Congeniality Award of the NBA.
Shout out to Sandra Bullock.
Shout out to Sandra Bullock. I was thinking about Sandra Bullock the other day. What a nice lady.
Are we gonna Sandra Bullock and the woman female counterpart to that Regina King?
And Regina King.
Regina King is the GOAT of Miss Congeniality.
I love Regina King.
I'm just saying, don't leave out Regina King when you're talking about Miss Congeniality.
You made that very weird. The point is,
Shout out a white lady, man.
That's what I was trying to say.
There's nothing. I'm not shouting out Sandra Bullock because she's white. I'm shouting out Sandra Bullock because she's a star of Miss Congeniality.
And I say Regina Hall is. Regina King.
Who is Regina Hall?
Both of them. Anything they in, they great. Go see Little.
Was Regina King in the first Miss Congeniality?
Yes, of course she was.
Was she?
No.
No.
Who was it?
You're shouting out Miss Congeniality too.
Not one.
That proves I'm a boy.
It proves a lot of things, but yes, mostly that. Okay. Anyway, shout out Sandra Bullock and Regina King. So shout out Miss Congeniality and Miss Congeniality too.
Hey.
More importantly, the MVP award has become just kind of not really that relevant. And I was trying to figure out. I said yesterday that the MVP award kind of took on this new role of weirdness and kind of dropped a little bit in the prestige of it with Russell Westbrook. But I want to go back a little bit further. I think it was Steph's second MVP.
The unanimous joint.
Was that the one when the players voted in the weird Players Award to give James Harden the MVP? Was that the year? Do you remember when that happened?
Where the players were different than the actual votes?
Yes. Do you remember the Players Awards? It was like the very first Players Awards, and it was like they randomly voted for James Harden to be the MVP, and it was like felt like the beginning of this Steph haterade.
I believe the hell out of you, but it doesn't recollect.
None of this is
No.
this is ringing a bell. Well, I think that's when it really happened. But the point of the matter is everyone gets in their feelings about the NBA MVP. This year has been kind of the first year where it's not been heavily discussed over and over and over from the trade deadline on. And I think it's because just people are winning it and either not making the finals or not winning the finals. Steph was the last one to make and win the finals while winning the regular season MVP, and that was the 2014-2015 season. In the last 20, only 5 of the regular season MVPs have made it to the finals and won. 5 of the last 20. So that means it's really, really what I've been saying the whole time, a regular season award.
But who's the 5?
LeBron twice, Steph twice. I'm sorry, LeBron twice, Steph once, Tim Duncan and Shaq.
Those are,
in 2000.
Those are all timers.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, it's a regular season award, and it has dropped in the level of prestige because of how much consistently the regular season MVP is not turning into postseason success.
Yeah, I'd argue it's losing its prestige because the people winning it aren't the people that are the most fun to watch play basketball.
Well, I don't know about that. I just think, like, Steph's fun to watch play basketball. James Harden was clearly deserved MVP. Westbrook had averaged a triple-double. I think it's more along the lines of people expect you to win the MVP and then go and win a championship. And when that doesn't translate, it's like, well, you shouldn't have won MVP. Well, yeah, you should have won MVP because you were amazing during the regular season. Yeah. And that's fine. But it just doesn't translate, and like that's really what people need to focus on. Also, I think there's become more of a discussion of, well, should we call it the MVP? Because if you are the most valuable player on your in the league, is that actually true? And then you get caught up in the word value. I just think it's just regular season MVP. Maybe people just need to start calling it regular season MVP. Even though we know it's the regular season, it might help people to absorb it better.
Do you think it would help if they didn't wait until the end of the playoffs
to
give the award? I
also wish they would stop doing that.
They already voted long ago, so we could release it. We could have a party now if you want after the finals if you want, but it would probably help to give it after the regular season.
I also agree with that. I know they want to do it during the awards, but I'm fully with you. Just say it right as soon as the season's over. You don't have to do all the other ones like Defensive Player of the Year, whatever.
That might make a storyline for you in the playoffs too.
Right.
So.
Well, because now when Giannis is going to end up winning it, which I hope he does, the stink on it now.
It's not stink on it, but it just takes a little bit of the juice out of it because it's like, you lost in Game 6 to Toronto. You know what I mean? It just doesn't have that feeling anymore. So I'm with you. I think it should announce it right after the season's over. All right, and finally in Loser Power Rankings, Rob Pelinka. So in the very long, very extensive report of stuff that we mostly knew about the Lakers' dysfunction, one thing we didn't know was that Rob Pelinka, during one of their Genius series or something, whatever they call it.
Genius TED Talk series.
Yeah, the Lakers did with the players. What's it called?
It was their... I grabbed the mic. Genius Talk series where The Rock was there.
The Rock was there.
The
Rock
was there? Yeah. Pelinka added his little story.
Yeah, so he told a story about Kobe, basically saying that Kobe was inspired by the Dark Knight, and he had dinner with Heath Ledger, and then he went and used some of the notes that he got from Heath Ledger to play a game.
The Dark Knight came out. They were going to play the Knicks in the Madison Square Garden. Kobe had just seen Dark Knight, hit up Rob Pelinka like, hey, give me a dinner with Heath Ledger. They met, and then whatever he learned from Heath Ledger in the dinner, he applied to that game versus the Knicks.
Literally what I just said, except for the Rob Pelinka phone call. So anyway, the point is, this did not happen because, unfortunately, rest in peace, Heath Ledger, one of the greatest villains of all time, playing the Joker, had already passed away. So this did not happen.
He's clearly lying, but we don't know about what.
Here's my thing, though. Did he
We don't know about what.
Did he misremember? Like, this is what I don't understand. How do you tell a story like that and it be anything other than like just pure insanity? Because it does not one part of it makes sense.
There's hella details and variables that are not
like, did he just
clear.
say, did he have dinner with someone from The Dark Knight and it wasn't Heath Ledger? Like, did he have dinner with Christian Bale and he thought it was Heath Ledger? Is it the wrong movie? Or is he just completely making this up?
There's a mix of multiple
Here's
things.
my issue, though. Forget Rob Pelinka making up a completely untrue story. All right, not factual story.
I can't say that.
Okay.
I don't know.
In the way that the story is currently assembled,
Yes.
not factual. Okay.
True.
Now,
Yes.
maybe there's a different version of this, which I'm assuming we're going to get.
Yeah.
My issue is don't tarnish the Golden Mamba. The one person who has remained unscathed throughout this Laker disaster is Kobe. Kobe is the one person who is not constantly being dragged into the situation, and now Kobe's in it too.
That's the issue. I think he should be dragged into the situation a little bit, and it's not his fault that his agent lied about some meeting that Kobe probably did ask.
What do you mean? Kobe is the one person responsible for Pelinka being there.
I know, that's the problem. You don't see Kobe isn't at fault there. The one reason Rob Pelinka is running Lakers is Kobe Bryant. Kobe's not at fault.
I mean, I'm not blaming Kobe for this.
Okay.
I'm not. All right, what's in the MIGOS Culture Report this week?
Despite mixed reviews, Disney's newest live-action remake, Aladdin, made over $207 million globally at the box office. Aladdin is now Will Smith's second biggest opening box office movie ever. Can you guess number one? It's not going to be one that you think it is. Think popularity.
That movie.
I know I know you're thinking though.
Suicide Squad.
Yes. When you said that movie, I knew you had it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I did not see it opening weekend, but I will see it because I support Will Smith and diversity in films and all that good stuff. But I'd be lying if I didn't say it looks like a bunch of people dressed up in Disney characters, outfits, running around in front of green screens. Joy, you saw the newest Aladdin. Did it compare? How did it compare to the 1992 version?
You're right about that. It is a bunch of people in Disney costumes.
It looks like
around
Disney on Ice on film.
Kind of. A little bit. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And if you've never been to Disney on Ice, wonderful experience.
Yes, it's fun, but
everything Disney does is wonderful.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point is, it does not fully compare to the 1992 version. Granted, I was 5. So everything
but
is
you've seen it since.
Amazing when you're 5. I have seen it since, yes. We discussed in length the cartoon version of Aladdin. We've been talking a lot about cartoons lately in our breaks. It's getting weird. But the point is, it was good. It was good. It's... So you saw Beauty and the Beast, right?
The live action one?
Yes.
Hell no. What? I saw Jungle Book. Don't come to me. Okay, I didn't see Beauty and the Beast, and now I'm what? What does that make me?
All right, Beauty and the Beast was excellent.
Okay.
And it's kind of like we have to find a rating system, all right? Because we're always talking about shows,
Yes.
we're always talking about movies.
I think we should put a crazy filter on the Rotten Tomatoes numbers. It's like take whatever they say it is, and then we put a filter on it.
And put our crazy version.
Crazy filter
like how
on
crazy is it?
Yeah, like
crazy good or crazy stank.
Yeah, like
right,
crazy.
Like we gotta figure it out. How
Crazy, no.
We'll give us suggestions for how we should rate it.
Yeah, we gotta movie suggestions.
Right.
Movie rating suggestions.
Okay, so what? Let's get on the same page of what the best movie of all time is. Like if we have to decide.
Lion King.
Okay.
Remember the Titans.
No. Well, Lion King is good. Everyone loves Lion King.
Yes.
All right. Lion King is a 10 out of 10 to everyone in the world. All right.
Yes.
Or
Very short,
100%
90
crazy,
minutes.
whatever it is. All right. All right. So Lion King, it's like 70% of Lion King. So watchable, good.
Yeah.
Will Smith is by far the star.
That's good.
Although the actress in it, who I don't have her name at the moment, was amazing as well.
Okay, good.
It's mostly the same story. There are some shifts and changes that are very progressive, but I liked it.
What?
We went with Bella and EJ. Their responses were not as positive. EJ was ready to go. Granted, he does not like anything girly, so he was not into it.
Yes.
And I felt like it was a little long for Bella. So, but and Earl had no time for it. He was just there because I wanted to go, and we need to take the kids to see the movie.
2+ hours, right?
But Armani loved it.
Okay.
Armani is responsible for High Key Low Key.
He's watching the art of the thing and like the.
Shouts
He's
to
not
Armani.
going to come with like a. He's not looking for like a negative hot take. He's like, that was worth my time.
Yes,
right now.
that is yes.
So it's like
And
general audience
he enjoyed
member.
it. It's a good love story. Will Smith does a great job in it. Lots of fun stuff.
Yeah.
DJ Khaled Will Smith song at the end of it. Spoiler alert.
Oh, okay.
So you get that at the end of the movie.
All right.
You want that, Jeremy?
Did
You
you
not
not
want that?
Did not want that.
Well, I tried to put a spin on it.
Gotta be a Stevie Wonder
there was
sample on that.
Yeah.
Was the music like with the song? Did the songs hit the same way?
The song, no. Okay, so A Whole New World does,
Yeah,
all right,
but
because it's a scene and just like it's the magic carpet, it hits the same way. Will Smith has a different version on Prince Ali, which I very much enjoyed.
Okay.
Very catchy.
Prince
The other songs, yeah,
Love that.
That still hits the same.
Okay,
Some
great.
other ones not so much.
Yeah.
I will say though, I learned from our hairdresser Newman, who is Persian,
Yes.
that
She's Persian.
we got this all wrong. So the real name is Aladdin. That's
Who?
his real name.
That's Aladdin's real name?
Aladdin's real name is Aladdin.
Okay.
And he is from Iraq.
Okay.
And this is an ancient, thousands of years, the story has existed, and we have Americanized it quite a bit. So she was not satisfied
no big surprises,
when she saw it. She did not see the 1992 version. So when she was telling me how disappointed she was in it, I was like, well, I mean, it's like it's almost the same. There's some changes. And she was like, no, the whole story is wrong. It is not this at all. The one thing he does do is get away from the guards. So that part we kept the same.
Okay, well, I want to say this for a bonus piece of content. I think we could get Nushin in a chair explaining the original story of Aladdin for bonus content.
Just directly to camera. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so we might do that. But I,
You know what I mean? Just
should-
like, what is-
I am
what is
very
the
against
original
when
Aladdin?
I learn something has been culture vultured. I like to change it. So
Yeah,
I think it's
of
important that
course.
everyone knows that the real name is Aladdin. I told her it would be very difficult to sing the songs that way. Prince Aladdin. It doesn't quite hit the same.
Of course, Disney created a Americanized white version of all of these things. Yeah, we were watching it.
Right, well, this is
There wasn't an African in Africa and near Pride Rock. Not one.
okay, but there's no people in Lion King.
Okay, if there was one, there would be an African. Just saying.
Okay, but there
It's in
aren't
Africa.
any people in
Okay.
Lion King.
All right.
All right.
There's
That's
people in
why
Lady and the Tramp.
it's a 10 out of 10.
All right.
There's no people in Lion King.
That is why
anyway,
it's a 10 out of 10.
so it's fine. But anyway, that's how you say it. So you know. The more you know.
man.
And finally, we don't have a song of the summer yet.
I mean, yeah, there's options, but like
That means we don't have a song of the summer. It should be consensus, like, oh yeah, this is the song.
the steam going towards right now, and I don't want it to be as much as we rode for it before, and no pun intended. Old Town Road, the remix,
Song of Spring.
it seems like it's pushing into song of summer territory,
It
and
can't.
I
It
don't
dominated
want
the
it.
festival season.
I don't
can't.
want it.
No, I love that song. I listen to it every time it comes on. I'm not sick of it yet. No one is. But it's already been out. We need a new one. You know what? I have a feeling.
What?
It just came to me.
What?
It's gonna be Drake. Because Drake is definitely gonna drop some heat very soon.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Joy, I said that in this podcast that music was coming.
No,
from
but
Drake.
but the song of the summer is
summer
going to come from Drake. We know Drake is going to drop some music.
No, yeah.
So
That's
is
the
he gonna
juice
make
right
a
now.
melancholy song about losing the finals?
No.
It's a song of the summer, though. You know what I'm saying?
It's
they're
gonna be
gonna
hype.
win,
It's
Heller.
good, yeah, if he's gonna be able to make it,
The Raptors are going to win.
if he can make a song that both the Warriors and the Raptors get hyped to going
my
into
gosh.
games,
Yes.
he gonna be the automatic GOAT. He is. I mean, right now, Drake's the GOAT. Drake's the GOAT.
So we got to go. Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us today on the Make 'Em Crazy podcast. Thank you to
Yes.
Bonnie Jo Laflin for joining us, giving us the scoop on the Lakers and previewing the finals, which start on Thursday. Very excited for that. So make sure you follow us on all of our social media pages at Maybe I'm Crazy Pod. Subscribe on YouTube. We're also on the iHeartMedia app now. So SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and our iHeartMedia app. So there's no excuses.
Nope.
Also follow Brandon on social media, Newman
Hey.
Show 99, myself, Joy Taylor Talks. And Make sure you subscribe so you can get Brandon's update, Brandon Newsman,
in
on
here.
Friday mornings, which I'm assuming will have some final stuff in it. Maybe no. Okay. Anyway.
When the games start?
Yeah. Okay.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. They start on Thursday.
We'll figure it out. We talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Well,
We got y'all.
Cool.
We got y'all.
Anyway, thanks for joining us today, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.